We are going to move on to our next speaker, and that is going to be Dave Onorato, who is the Executive Director of the Pittsburgh Parking Authority. Dave.
Thank you, Nick. And welcome everyone and good afternoon. I'm Dave Onorato, Executive Director of the Pittsburgh Parking Authority and past chair of IPMI. As the Executive Director, I'm responsible for the day-to-day operations of the authority and its future vision moving forward. PPA has also been recognized by IPMI as Parking Organization of the Year, and we also earned our APO, Accredited Parking Organization with Distinction, which is a very high standard to hit. I'm going to have a little different take on the presentations. We don't really handle truck parking per se. I work along with the city. We're a municipality on urban street parking that involves delivery trucks as well as some larger vehicles, and I'll get into that. But we are going to be a little different take than the first two presentations. So with that, the little background, PPA, the Parking Authority, operates independently from our city. I oversee 12 garage structures with 9,000 spaces, 33 surface lots, including 10,000 meter spaces, both on and off street, including loading zones. And critical to that is that the authority is responsible for enforcement of both the garage parking and the street parking, which drastically changed over the last several years into curb management, which is a hot term right these days. So post-COVID, curb management became a high priority due to the higher demands of the curb space and the many different demands from different agencies. So we had to rethink our process, what we were doing going forward. So we came up with the challenges we were facing due to the new demands. Rising congestion, double parking, safety caused by increased commercial activity. We saw enforcing bus and bike lanes and no stopping zones, and a lack of visibility into how curbs are being used. So we had to address all those issues, and we came up with an objective sheet to try to come up with solutions for that. First off, we wanted to work and support the city's Vision Zero, managing urban streets to prevent injuries and fatalities. We wanted to support local businesses so they had an efficient number of turnovers and delivery access for their goods. And we wanted to be able to collect the data of the curb to be able to set policies going forward. So we needed real-time data going in the future. For all the reasons we just stated is what makes it important to modernize the curb through data and technology to effectively manage our curbside enforcement needs. Pittsburgh has not charged for loading zones access, a policy rooted in outdated practices from an era with far fewer demands on the curb. And as mentioned before, the demand of the curb has changed drastically from eateries, bus lanes, bike lanes, Uber pickup, ride shares. So there's a lot of different organizations and entities reaching out for the curb space. However, Pittsburgh has consistently been a leader in the innovative parking and mobility solutions. In 2012, Pittsburgh became the first U.S. city to adopt a pay-by-plate system on street parking, mirroring the European mythology. Building upon the tradition, Pittsburgh pioneered a strategy to manage the curb loading demand, linking usage to access. We initiated smart streets and purple curbs, were to use to our loading zones, hence the smart loading zones. What we did is we had loading zones that were basically 30-minute free parking, not only for deliveries, but for any general public that wanted it. They weren't enforced with the old style meters, weren't enforced at all unless you exceeded the 30 minutes. But enforcement of that is very labor intensive, so we usually missed a lot of the violations. With the smart loading zones, we now were able to catch the information real time. When we first installed it, we wanted to collect the data before we went live. The spaces were monitored via a stationary camera attached to a pole, and the curb was identified with purple paint to identify that it was a smart loading zone. With this smart loading zone, individuals, commercial trucking companies or deliveries, all they have to do is register with the current vendor, and it operates almost like an easy pass. Once the driver pulls in, there's no action needed on a driver's behalf. Rather, the time starts ticking away once they're a registered customer. If they're not a registered customer, they will be billed, a ticket in violation will be automatically sent to them via ticket by mail. The automated enforcement was a huge success in having this program enforced efficiently, because trying to do it manually, once the officer was notified there was a violation, by the time they got there, the individual or vehicle could be gone already. So the smart loading zones were enforced using, again, the stationary cameras, and the automated enforcement was the big reason for its success. After we collected the data, it showed that we were missing probably in excess of 70% of the violations on a daily basis, because we weren't able and didn't have enough manpower to cover it. You, we used to use established curb management policies. We used the data to establish curb management policies and assist in setting our rates based on demand. Currently, with smart loading zones, a registered customer is entitled to 15-minute free parking, and after that, they're charged the current hourly rate of that neighborhood or that zone, which varies depending where you're at. If you're in the downtown or around the universities, the rate's a little higher than the small business neighborhood areas. Today, we nearly have nearly 80 smart loading zones, with the ability to expand and the authorization of City Council to expand up to 200 smart loading zones. Again, using the smart loading zones, we were able to identify and help solve the safety issue through the city, and eliminate double parking and parkers staying in excess of their time. One-time registration all it takes for a customer is a one-time registration with their license plate, and it creates a wallet with automated reload. They're fully automated buildings, so no driver action is needed again. And some of the results that we've seen is 97% reduction in double parking, 65% reduction in park duration, and 20 to 25% increase in the number of parks per zone, 66% collection rate, and only 2% of the people receiving citations or tickets are contesting them through our parking court. Again, we're a little different in that we're not creating parking stalls or supplies for big trucks, but being a municipality and an urban center, we have to control how the delivery trucks and food trucks and delivery vehicles, whether commercial or small vehicles, are maintained on our street. The curb is very difficult to manage today, but we have to maintain some sense of discipline in it, like I like to say, to control the safety aspect of it. Not only do we do that now with the stationary cameras in the smart loading zones, but we also are using mobile LPRs to enforce the bike lanes and bus lanes, which have taken over loading street and curb space too. So use of technology and automated enforcement is one of the huge success that we had into incorporating our policies and management and enforcement of the on-street and curb management in Pittsburgh.
Okay, thanks, David. A couple questions. What was outreach like with the businesses and drivers to register and learn about the purple curbs?
We did do a
And
massive marketing campaign and an outreach. Before we rolled it out, there was some pushback in several neighborhoods. A lot of them were in favor of it, but there were some against it. So to have it roll out more easily on our part, we did not put it into one area first. So we rolled it out in the areas where they thought they would like it. We got consensus that it was working, and we eventually were expanding to other neighborhoods now. But again, you are correct in that any buy-in in advance makes this program successful, instead of trying to get the buy-in after the fact.
Okay, thanks. Another question. How are the locations for smart loading zones identified and like what kind of criteria do you use and can they be suggested by businesses or only done by the authority using citation data and other information?
No, like I mentioned before, we're separate from the city, so we work closely with the city, uh, Department of DOMI, Department of Infrastructure and Mobility. They have the power to identify the curb usage. We may recommend it to them, but what we first did was we had loading zones identified in the city. We evaluated those and we looked at which ones were in the business district, and we went to those businesses and small communities to explain the new smart loading zones. And that's how we first ruled it out there. But the city gets to approve it. Uh, and they check with us for, they don't need our approval, but they look for our recommendations and agreement with them.